The concept of a new world order has been a topic of discussion for decades, with many believing it to be a secretive and powerful group seeking to control world events. Recently, the idea of a Satanic New World Order has emerged, with some claiming that this group is using climate change propaganda to oppress individuals and societies. While this notion may seem far-fetched, it is essential to examine the underlying concerns and arguments surrounding this claim. Proponents of this theory argue that the Satanic New World Order is using climate change as a tool to manipulate public opinion, create fear, and exert control over governments and institutions. They claim that this group, often associated with wealthy elites and powerful organizations, is pushing a false narrative about the severity of climate change to justify the implementation of draconian policies and regulations. These policies, they argue, will ultimately lead to the loss of individual freedoms, increased government control, and a shift towards a more authoritarian and totalitarian society. One of the primary concerns is that climate change has become a highly politicized issue, with many governments and organizations using it to further their own agendas. The emphasis on climate change has led to the creation of a massive industry, with billions of dollars being invested in renewable energy, carbon credits, and sustainability initiatives. While these efforts may be well-intentioned, critics argue that they are often driven by a desire for profit and power rather than a genuine concern for the environment. Moreover, the climate change narrative has been used to justify a range of policies that restrict individual freedoms and increase government control. For example, the implementation of carbon taxes, cap-and-trade systems, and strict regulations on energy consumption have been touted as necessary measures to combat climate change. However, these policies have also been criticized for disproportionately affecting low-income households, small businesses, and rural communities who may struggle to adapt to the increased costs and regulations. Another concern is that the climate change agenda is being used to promote a radical transformation of society, often under the guise of sustainability and environmentalism. This transformation includes the promotion of radical social and economic changes, such as the abandonment of traditional energy sources, the adoption of veganism and vegetarianism, and the implementation of strict population control measures. While these changes may be desirable to some, they are often imposed without democratic consent, and those who question or resist them are labeled as deniers or skeptics. The role of the media and education system in promoting the climate change agenda is also a topic of concern. The constant bombardment of climate change propaganda in the media, coupled with the inclusion of climate change education in school curricula, has created a sense of urgency and fear among the public. This fear is often exploited to justify the implementation of radical policies and to silence dissenting voices. The suppression of dissenting views and the labeling of skeptics as deniers has created a culture of intolerance and censorship, which is antithetical to the principles of free speech and open debate. In conclusion, while the idea of a Satanic New World Order using climate change propaganda to oppress us may seem like a conspiracy theory, it is essential to examine the underlying concerns and arguments surrounding this claim. The politicization of climate change, the promotion of radical social and economic changes, and the suppression of dissenting views are all legitimate concerns that need to be addressed. Rather than dismissing these concerns as paranoid or conspiratorial, we should engage in open and honest debate about the climate change agenda and its implications for our societies and individual freedoms. By promoting critical thinking, skepticism, and open debate, we can ensure that the response to climate change is based on sound science, democratic principles, and a genuine concern for the well-being of all people, rather than the interests of a powerful and secretive elite.